Okay, what's up, guys? Tuning in here from my apartment in Medellin, Colombia, where I've been working for the past week. I came out here for a retreat with my team of the Detox Dudes, and it's been an excellent experience. And it's got me thinking about a topic that I want to dive into today, which is, being the dumbest person in the room. And this might feel like a really straightforward topic for a lot of people. This might just feel like something that's parroted from a million other creators and people on the internet already. And I would tend to agree. This time, though, I have something a little bit more unique and something that came to mind over the course of the last week and a half because I was experiencing it. Most people, when I thought of being the dumbest person in the room, I always thought that it meant that, I was just intellectually wise, not as intelligent as the people that I was around, right? Which is also a part of the process. Like, being not the most intelligent person in the room does mean that everybody else has more experience than you, they're smarter than you in the field that you're in. And to me, that always came across as like, school or business or, some kind of like skill set. But one piece that I never really considered before is you can be the dumbest person in the room for anything. You can be the dumbest person in the room for emotional intelligence. You can be the dumbest person in the room for spiritual fulfillment. You can be the dumbest person in the room for peace. And those pieces are equally as important or more important than the common trope of being the dumbest person in the room, which is like you're in a business conference with 10 other people and 9 of them are making $10 million a year and you're not, and so you want to learn from them. So that's great. If you want to make money and you need money, that's great. Money's important, but I never really resonated with that at the deepest level. Because to me, money is just a byproduct of myself. Money's a byproduct of the situations that I put myself in internally. And then eventually the money starts to flow. So when I actually got the perspective of, I can just be the dumbest person in the room for my own growth. The dumbest person in the room at, public speaking, or the dumbest person in the room for emotional intelligence. And as you level up and as you get better and better in your life, as I've gotten better and better in my life in lots of different avenues, it's become more nuanced on how to kind of be the dumbest person in the room. And what I've experienced is that I've set my life up in a way right now where I actually am generally the dumbest person in the room for a number of different elements of my life. So one being business. The business environment that I'm in right now is very competitive. It's very educational, and I have a lot of very high performing, heavily accomplished people who have come through tons and tons of experience to get to where they are. And those people are leading the charge, and I am along for the ride. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm absorbing like a sponge, but I am not the most experienced by far, not even close. And I love that. I think it's really great. Now, at some point in my life, I would have told myself, my ego would have gotten in the way, and I would have wanted to be smarter. I would have wanted to seem like I got everything figured out. I would have wanted to seem like I already get this, so I'm not less than you. And that's a common ego response that will actually keep you stuck, right? Is if you feel like you can't not know something, then you're always gonna be faking it like you do know things you don't, and therefore you're never gonna be absorbing the information that would actually move you forward in your life. You're putting on a mask, you're putting on a facade in order to present yourself like you are experienced, to present yourself like you are somebody who already understands things, when the reality of the situation is that you understand nothing. And the more that you try to convince other people that you know things that you don't, the more that you put on that facade, the longer you stay stuck at a certain layer of development. And I know this because I did it for a long time. I spent lots of years sitting in a phase of development where I would just feel too threatened to tell people, hey, I actually don't understand this, and to actually be humble enough to just shut up and listen, because I always wanted to talk and I always wanted to seem like I knew. And there's some value in that. Like, don't sell yourself short. You need to know where you actually are experienced, because for me, I am experienced in a lot of places and I've done a lot of work. So I actually am experienced in a lot of ways. But what I've learned is the most experienced people I've ever come in contact with, the most spiritually developed people I've ever come in contact with, those people who have such a crazy track record that you meet them and you would expect them to be so puffed up, so full of themselves, because they have so much reference experience to say that they are the fucking shit. And those people are always the ones who ask the most questions. They're never ever gonna seem like they are that. They never seem like they're the most accomplished person. They never seem like they've done these incredible things. They just come from a place of being humble. right? And they come from a place of constant growth and absorbing, and that's why they accomplish what they do, because people like that. And it's also their mind is constantly learning. Their ego isn't getting in the way. So my personal journey, my battle has always been through my teens and early 20s was that I came from a very threatened place where my system of defense to make myself feel like I was worth something was to pretend like I knew more than I did, and was to boost myself up artificially, and to be arrogant, and to be impossible to actually get a point across to, because I already knew more than you. And that was what I learned later on to be just a defense mechanism for what was inside, which is that I felt like I was not enough. I felt like I could never compete. I felt like there was no way that I would be as good as anybody else unless I faked it. So in my late 20s now, what I've been doing is really focusing on how do I sit with the feeling of I know nothing, and instead of trying to come up with the next clever thing to say, actually asking the right questions and actually looking towards people who know more than me to say, you know what, how do I open my heart more? You know, I feel like I'm stuck at this layer. How do I accept myself more deeply? Or, you know, how do I communicate better here? Because I feel like in my relationship, my communication is stuck and I don't know what to do. And ever since I made that change to choosing to not always just let my ego get in the way, sometimes it does. It always does a little bit. But once I made that change, I started just listening to mentors. All of a sudden, mentors started coming into my life. All of a sudden, it just became this vacuum where instead of me pretending like I knew more than I did, now I'm just open and honest. I know fucking nothing. Please tell me what to do. Please inform me of the things I need to do to get better, because I want to get better. That's one thing I know for sure. I want to have a deeper spiritual connection. I want to have a more full life. I want to make more money. I want to be more successful, all of those things. And ever since I started doing that, man, life has gotten infinitely better. I mean, I'm literally in Medellin, Colombia right now. I'm working my dream job. And 2 years ago, I was in such a horrible place. You know, I really was. And the past version of me was so desperate to get to a point where he could just have mentors ahead of him to help along the process. And don't get me wrong, these are not easy decisions. They didn't just fall in my lap. I had to grind. And I also had to invest. Like, I invested lots of money and time and energy into making sure that I could get myself in the best places. I also was very fortunate and lucky. And I followed, you know, whether you want to call it God's intervention or whatever resonates with you. For me, it feels that I have encountered some kind of divine act in my life, whereby getting out of my own way and getting clear on what I actually wanted, I was able to align myself with my purpose more clearly, and also that I was able to sort of listen to the guidance of God through other people, through my own intuition, through just sitting in silence, but really other people, and getting it to be outside of myself and allowing my world to become bigger. A lot of miraculous things began to happen very quickly. And now I find myself exploring the world. I find myself making money. I find myself feeling pretty fulfilled. And it's just beginning. Like, it's just beginning. So like this next year is going to be like monumental. And it's so exciting. And so I really hope that, you know, if you're somebody who feels like they need to know it all, you probably aren't watching this video, but seeking that guidance, constantly seeking guidance in areas that you know you are not sufficient in, and investing when it's uncomfortable, your time, your money, your energy, and doing the things that you don't want to do will pay dividends beyond belief. And this is such a thing that I think people get stuck on, is they think that they hit a plateau and then there's no way out. Well, there's no way out from the way you are thinking. There's no way out from the way you understand the world. But there is a way forward. There is a way out from the way that some other human understands the world. And if you seek that out and you find that human and you put your all and your heart and your soul into that human's mission and that human's world and whatever that looks like, you'll have a radical shift, and it's something out of this world. So anyways, my phone's gonna die here in Medellin. It's fucking beautiful. I got a few more days left. I'm about to go do a salsa class. Working at the Detox Dudes, having a blast. And yeah, I really honestly just can't even believe it feels just normal, but it shouldn't feel normal because this is not a normal life. It's really cool, and I'm just infinitely grateful to be in the position that I'm in, and yeah, wanted to make a little video here to communicate that. So hope that helps. Love you guys. Nice to see you all again, and we will talk again soon. Peace.